Greetings! I am Alex Lamb, author of the Roboteer science fiction novels, and you are watching Secrets of the Universe, the ridiculous video vlog sequence, whatnot, in which I attempt to rip open every Amazon box of mystery that has ever appeared on the doorstep of the human race. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk today about a thing that I find totally fascinating called Prisoner's Dilemma. What is Prisoner's Dilemma? Well, it's a game originally invented by a chap called John von Neumann, who was terribly clever. He was sort of one of these Princeton science type of people, and he managed to contribute to computer science, physics, invented game theory, and there's a couple of other sort of spare scientific disciplines. You know the sort. One of them. Dime a dozen these von Neumann guys. Anyway, yeah, so he invented it, remarkable thing, and then it was extended and explored by a bloke called John Nash, who there was the movie A Beautiful Mind, that was, all about him being slightly bonkers, but terribly clever at the same time. So anyway, they were both very, very smart fellows. So yeah, that was, but what is it though? I mean, I've just said who made it up, but what actually is it? Well, Prisoner's Dilemma is a game that really sort of tries to capture the essence of cooperation. When and why do people cooperate with each other? The way this is normally described is a slightly convoluted story about the fact that you've got two prisoners in different cells, and you basically say they've got, they can either talk or not talk, and they get some kind of a amount of years in prison depending upon whether or not they actually sort of like rat out their buddy and so on and so forth. I think an easier way to think about it, and certainly something that I was taught by some nice people I got to work with, is essentially you have two people and they both have the opportunity to do something nice for each other at a small cost to themselves. So they can deliver a large benefit and provide cake in return for a small slap in the face or what have you. So they have the chance of being able to deliver a large benefit and get a small punishment for it. And the question is, if you meet somebody and you don't know them or you don't know what they're going to do you give them the cake, knowing that you'll certainly be slapped in the face if you do? And the answer is, if both of them give each other a cake and they both get slapped in the face, they've got a mild slap, but they're both up a cake. If you, on the other hand, if you sit there and you don't give somebody a cake, you might get a free cake and no one's going to slap you. Or indeed, if you decide that you're going to give somebody a cake, you're like, here, have a cake, I believe in you. And then you hand over the cake and then nothing happens and there comes the slap, and you're like, why I order? Because then you've got what's called the sucker's payoff, which is where you got the slap and didn't get the cake. Anyway, it's that simple transaction. Large reward, small cost. Do people decide to engage in an act of trust or not? So the mechanism of it is pretty simple, but the outcome, ladies and gentlemen, the results of this are not simple. They are enormously rich and complex and vivid, and have sucked up the attention of a vast number of academics and been the topic of countless papers on the field, because there are many interesting things you can do with Prisoner's Dilemma. Once you've got this sort of basic model, this basic simple game which captures at some level the symmetry of what cooperation is, then you can do various things with it. You can trick it up. You can, by basically saying what happens if people have a choice of different kind of novelty hat to wear, and whether or not people decide to trust each other based on, oh, I see you've got a blue hat. I like blue hat people. All right, you get a cake. You can add on markers or things like this, so you can have people trapped in a room trying to give people cakes and getting slapped for hours at a time, and whether or not they actually learn to cooperate or not. And so yes, various different ways in which you can sort of augment or extend the game. And what's beautiful about this is it gives you this window onto not just how people behave when confronted with cake and facial slapping, but also the sort of symmetries of cooperation that show up everywhere in all things. So for instance, like symbiotes, great word, I love symbiotes. But anyway, sort of like, you know, you get little fish that go inside the mouth of a shark and pick stuff out and things like that. Anyway, there's a sort of a weird mutual win-win that happens in nature. Or, you know, the birds that land on the backs of oxen and do pecky things. But are they actually symbiotes? Oh, that's a deep question. Anyway, the point being that all the genes inside your body, all these little kind of like expressive units of chemical potential working together somehow to make a peep. How does that actually happen? Well, Prisoner's Dilemma has a lot to do with it. You know, active cooperation. When does it pan out? Because it's quite possible for genes to decide, oh, screw this reproduction stuff, just make more of me, and then instruct the cellular machinery to just make more of them. And we'll come back to that in another video. But the point being that, or like corporate mergers, like strange, horrible Warner Brothers, Yahoo types of things, or stuff like that, where you get groups of people in terribly expensive suits sitting down, steepling their fingers and looking at each other in wise and clever, kind of businessy kind of ways, and then talking extensively about synergies, and talking extensively about going the extra mile and added value, and all of that sort of thing, and then having their stock price crash and burn 6 months later. But the point being, how you get all of this stuff right, how you understand all of these forms of cooperation that can happen, all of this can spring out of a study of this terribly simple cake slap game if you do it right, if you extend the model in interesting ways. I have a particular favourite fun version of Prisoner's Dilemma that I like to play with. It's a kind of an extension of the game. I call it Employee's Dilemma. And that one's really fun. But you know what? I should probably cover that in another video because I bet I've already gone too long. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening, ladies and gentlemen. Prisoner's Dilemma. Next time, maybe Employee's Dilemma. Who knows? Maybe something else. Tune in next time and find out. Hooray!